Hi. Nope. Much better. Hi, I'm trying something new. It's not really new, not to me, not to anyone. It's just new to this exact moment of my life. If you've been around in the last few videos, you've probably heard me complain about editing. That's not gonna stop. I both despise editing and cannot let go of my complete control over it. But in order to avoid sitting at my computer for 12 hours a day while I slowly spiral, I'm cutting my days in half. Editing in the morning, lunch. Part of this process is requiring myself to eat a decent lunch, and then sewing until dinner. I can't guarantee dinner will be decent. On good days, it's a piece of fruit. And so we begin the project that I had the idea for many months ago, and I'm just now getting to. Yay! I'll let you know how the whole half-day thing goes. I have high hopes. But we're going to patchwork, and we're going to ruffle, and if my calculations are correct, the results should be over the top and a lot of fun. Let's do it! I wasn't prepared for that to be so loud. So ever since I made that 10 circle skirts dress, which I made entirely out of fabric quarters, I've been wanting to do something similar. Not the 10 circle skirts, we're good there, but patchworking fabric quarters together into this bright and sunny sundress. Of course, that required that I get a whole bunch of fabric quarters that all kind of at least coordinated a little. I want to say it was $5 for one of these packages, which has 6 fabric quarters in it. I really had no idea how much fabric I should buy. I bought what just seemed like an insane amount. But now that I stand here looking at it, it doesn't seem like an insane amount anymore. It seems like not that much. Check back in after I've patchworked all of this fabric and I'll probably think it's an insane amount again. I have a plan for the dress. It involves big poofy sleeves and a big ruffled skirt, and I was hoping to make it a maxi dress. But what I'm gonna do is start with the bodice because, you know, that can't change all that much. And then whatever fabric I have left over, I'll make the skirt out of, because I can always ruffle a little bit less, or I can just make the skirt shorter. So before I show you my dress design, let's open all of these up and see how much I have. I could do a little bit of math right now and figure out how much I have, but I'd rather see it in a stack for the drama. Okay? Okay. I think I need scissors. There's a lot of tape on those. Okay. Ta-da! It's so pretty! Let's see what we got. Well, that's already my favorite. I love that so much. We gotta speed through the rest. Okay, that's a lot of fabric. I didn't count while I was doing that, so let's count. 1, 5, 10, 15, 2, 3, 4. Is this 15 yards of fabric? Is it? Why am I so taken aback by this? I'm finding this so hard to believe that this is 15 yards of fabric. But we're gonna move past that, because otherwise I'll be here all day thinking about it. There's a lot of cutting that's about to happen. I am realizing that this is not going to be a fast project at all, because you know how much I'm going to obsess over the placement of all of these different patterns. A lot. I'm gonna obsess over it a lot, but it's gonna be fun. 15 yards seems like enough to make a dress, doesn't it? Doesn't it? It seems like it. I also don't want to waste any of this fabric on the lining though, so I just have a plain 1 yard of fabric right here to make the lining of the bodice. I don't think I should need any more than that. Tra-la, Bob's your uncle. Let me show you my design. All right, my drawing skills have not really improved, y'all. I don't spend that much time trying to improve them. but the basic concept is a sundress sort of thing. Nice, full, gathered skirt, hopefully with multiple tiers. I'd like to get in at least 3. I want big, poofed sleeves, maybe with a little ruffle on the bottom. That'd be fun. And then the bodice itself, I'm hoping to do just a simple 3-piece front bodice. And then in the back, I want it to tie. So the back of the skirt will be on elastic. So in terms of pattern pieces, which I guess I will be making, you've basically got 3 pieces for the bodice front, the center, and the 2 sides, and then the bodice back will be basically just 2 sort of triangles or trapezoids, I guess. And right here will be attached to the sashes, which I don't have to make super long. I'm telling myself right now I should not make them super long because I don't want to waste too much fabric on that. And then the sleeves would just be a simple sort of trapezoid shape, because this up here on the shoulder will be on elastic so that it can either sit on your shoulder or hopefully also fall off the shoulder and be a little dramatic off the shoulder, cute summery thing. You know the look. I've never made anything like this, so you know, what could go wrong? So that's the plan, and now the question is, where do I start? Luckily, I have an easy answer for that because all of this fabric needs to be ironed. And as much as I normally hate ironing 15 yards of fabric, it's kind of nice right now because I can just sit there ironing this and thinking about yeah. Hi-ho, hi-ho, it's off to iron I go.
"2,000 years later."
I am definitely wrapping my head around the 15 yards now that I've ironed all of it. Unfortunately, I did not really come up with a plan for what to do next, other than laying all of this fabric out on the floor so I can stare at it. Oh my God. Can I just lay down and roll and make it all miraculously into a dress? So what is my next step? I also have to figure out how I'm patchworking this because these are not perfect squares, so I can't just cut them into fourths and have a square. I will still have a rectangle. So my first thought was to separate each piece into 2 smaller squares and 2 bigger squares. But that is not how squares work, she says as geometry re-enters her mind. That's 4 squares out of 1 piece, and I have that left over. Do I want to do the squares on the bodice really small? Because then in theory, I could get 4 large squares and 4 small squares out of each of these pieces. And honestly, the bodice is not that big, especially because I'm gonna do high waist. But if that's the size of the square, then the bodice could only have like 3 across the front. But on the skirt, that size of a square will be great. But that is the size of the small square that I could get out of this. So now that on the bodice, we're now talking about several squares and it's gonna actually look patchwork. There we go, I think I just solved my problem. Each one of these can be turned into 8 squares. Yeah, that's what my brain is saying. Okay. A plan is formulating. So the next thing I need to do is pattern out and cut out the bodice out of the lining fabric, sew it all together, make sure that it's okay. Because if the pattern pieces work for the lining, then I can reuse them for the outside and everything will be good. All right, the patterning out was not too bad. Recently, a lot of people have been asking me if I make patterns and I keep saying, no, I don't make patterns. I realize that this is technically self-drafting a pattern, what I am doing right here, but like, this does not even seem closely related to the knowledge and the work and the experience that has to go into drafting a commercial use pattern that multiple people can use and turn out a decent product. And honestly, y'all, here's the thing. I know I could take a class or something and learn how, but I just do not have the slightest interest. Like, it is just not for me. I don't really wanna. And when it comes to sharing my pattern making process, I mean, this is why I don't tend to share that much. I mean, look at what the process is. It's just a lot of insanity, and I have no idea what I'm doing. So I am just measuring my own body and figuring things out as I go and constantly changing things. And if I sit down and tell you everything that I'm doing right here, tomorrow morning when I come back to it and actually cut out the fabric, it's probably gonna end up being wrong. So that is why I tend to skim over this part. Also, my camera died halfway through recording and therefore deleted most of the footage. So there's that. I'm gonna pause there for the night because it feels like dinner time. And the one joy, there's only one joy, of not having the puppy here right now is that I can leave all of those pieces of fabric on the living room floor for days. And there's no little puppy paws to go running across them and mess them all up. The one benefit, I guess. Everything else about not having the puppy here sucks. I will see you tomorrow afternoon after once again spending my morning editing. Bye! Good afternoon! I am happy to report that the half-day thing is going great so far. I didn't hate editing yesterday, and I even more didn't hate it today. Yes. I mean, of course I woke up this morning and wanted to dive straight back into this, but yeah, I didn't. I made myself go edit instead, and it was a jolly good morning. I'm gonna get this bodice lining cut out and sewn together and make sure it fits and make any adjustments that I have to. And this part is gonna be boring, so I'm probably gonna gloss through it real fast, just letting you know. Aw, there's dog hair. I miss my baby! Yes. Yeah? Sure, I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Do you see all this? Well, you probably can't see all this, but it's a mess right here. And this is, again, why I don't share my self-drafted patterns with you, because guess what? I'm gonna redraw every single one of these. I guess not this one. This is fine. But all three of these pieces need to be reshaped after testing it on my actual body. So that's why I don't call these videos tutorials, y'all, because I have no idea what I'm doing. Why is this such a mess?
Eventually.
Alrighty, this is the most mock-up of any mock-up I've ever made because I'm not gonna use it, so wow. But with the redone pattern pieces, I cut out just the front three because that's probably all I'm gonna do out of this fabric. And I am much more satisfied with the fit. It's looking decent across the boobs. I won't really be able to tell until I have the whole thing together, but I'm satisfied enough with this to move on. Which means the next step is patchworking. This is gonna be quite a process. Expect many time lapses. Woo! In theory, that's what I get from every single one of these. 4 of these, 4 of these. Is there a faster way to do this? I mean, I kind of don't think so. Yes, there is. Cardboard template. Do I have cardboard? I've got to have cardboard. There's always a box somewhere around here. Okay, that actually did not take as long as I thought it would because I started like expecting it to take all week for some reason. It didn't. It really only took like, I don't know, 4 hours tops. I got a lot to work with. It's kind of back to not looking like much though. Like it's weird that I can just hold it like this in my hands. So this is gonna get set aside until I have finished the whole bodice and sleeves, and this potentially becomes all of that. Anyway, I kind of want to throw these all in the air, but I feel like they would stick together and come down in one clump, and it wouldn't be that satisfying. As I predicted, here we go. Alright, we got a first little piece of fabric made here. It's not the neatest, but in all fairness, I wasn't trying that hard. It's fine though, it's getting cut up.
Day 2. Day 3.
I just want to bake a chocolate cake, or cinnamon rolls, or monkey bread, or jammy oat bars, but I have no eggs, no milk, and no butter. The grocery store is 5 minutes away, and right now that is 5 minutes too far. I just want homemade sugary goods. Also, I need another 41 squares for the second sleeve because each sleeve requires 70 squares. So that's what I'm doing today.
Nicely done.
Well, I've run out of thread. You know where all of it is? It's not in the freaking patchworking. It's on the floor. Oh Lord, all right. So the thing is, I'm top stitching so much. In fact, that's what I'm on right now, is top stitching. I need to go to Joanne and get this exact same color. Probably like 2 or 3 more spools because I haven't even started on the skirt yet. I could go grocery shopping while I'm at it, get myself some milk, eggs, and butter, and make a cake. This is the only way I leave the house, is when I'm forced to buy my projects. Y'all, thread is expensive. Thank God I get my fabric so cheap because, oh my God, 10 bucks for that. And this is the cheap thread. This is polyester thread. Be cheaper, thread. They had none of the regular size, but then I found these giant rolls. So, do you think that will last me through this dress? I mean, I'm kind of hoping it only takes that. 10 bucks. My God. Back to sewing. That'll do for now.
Day 4.
This dress makes me happy. Not this one, but this one too. We now reach the lovely stage in the process where you've spent days sewing everything together and you have to cut it up. Terrifying. It can be avoided no longer. I love how I'm all like, oh my God, I have to cut it out now, I'm scared. And then 5 seconds later, I'm like, that'll do. Okay. Is that how physics works? Okay. Now we do the cutting. My cake! I was finally able to make a cake. You better work. How big is the elastic I'm using? I have already forgotten. You should probably go check though. Y'all, this is like unprecedented levels of precision for me. I guess this is what happens when I've spent 4 days creating my fabric. It's like I care. So in theory, I just have to sew all of this together and I have a bodice. In reality, I'm probably gonna sit here for at least 15 to 20 minutes devising the exact step-by-step way that I'm supposed to sew it together and literally writing that down so that I have no risk of missing a step. It's a lot of staring off into the distance and questioning myself. So much fun! Good cake! Yummy. That should work. Y'all, we got sleeves! sleeve 1 and sleeve 2. Now I just need something to attach them to. I look like a kid wearing their little pool floaties.
Tomorrow.
Yo, we have a bodice. I was not sure that this was gonna work pretty much the whole time, but it worked. This sleeve is too loose. Dang it, I'm gonna have to fix that. That's what it looks like. I really need a better mirror setup because I can't see it back there, so I don't know if it looks good. Does it look good? I was so expecting this to turn out worse than it did. Yay! The skirt is gonna be so easy comparatively, even with the pockets. Don't forget the pockets. Don't forget the pockets. I've officially reached a stage in life that I thought I would never reach. Perhaps I even hoped I would never reach. I slept in this morning to 7:30 a.m. Yeah, I feel like I've officially become an adult. I am forgoing the half and half day today, even though that's been going super well, and hopefully I'll be able to restart that in the near future. But Matt gets home from Europe today. Yay! And then we have one day to see houses, clean up this house, pack, and then we have to head off on a week-long road trip to see a bunch of family, go to a wedding, and pick up our puppy. All good stuff. But when we get back from that, we have to like dive head first into finding a house and moving. So it just feels like life is not going to be normal for a while. Normalcy is an illusion anyway. So assuming I counted correctly, I have 237 squares. So if I make every tier 2 squares high, then I only need 112 total, and that's not enough. But if I make every tier only 1 square high, I don't even have enough of these to do the bottom tier. This is feeling like a lot of math first thing in the morning. So what I could do is the double tier thing, but more than double. I know I'm making so much sense right now. So if the first row is 10 and 10, the second row is 30 and 30, and the next row is 80 and 80. What's our total? 240, which is 3 more than I have. But in theory, I could just drop the last one to 78 by 78. This is what I'm gonna do. Now let's cut out some pockets and start sewing. Y'all, oh my god! It's so cute! Whew! The hard part is done. Now we're just lengthening the skirt with tons of patchworking and gathering and easy peasy straight to the end. It'll probably take a hot second, but it'll be easy. It's looking exactly like I thought it would look and like I wanted it to look, and that is quite honestly mind-blowing. Yay! So it's been a week of no progress, but guess who's home now?
Come here.
Yay!
Can you say hi to camera?
Okay, bye. Anyway, I am jonesing, I believe is an appropriate phrase, to get back to this. I really want to finish this dress. And at this point, it's pretty much just sewing a bunch of straight seams and then laying out more fabric and then sewing more straight seams. I think I gotta put my hair up. That's a lot of ruffle. These are each 1 layer of the final ruffle. This is gonna take me days. Hooray! Let's start sewing. this is gonna take all week. Is it possible that I am done? No, it's not, because I still have to hem it. But everything is sewn together! Yay! This dress is massive! Okay, since all I have left to do is very slowly hem the 600-inch bottom tier of this, I'm gonna say, let's call it there on filming, and skip to the final product. When did I start this dress? Because I feel like I've worked on it for a really long time. I'm kind of hot and sweaty, and I'm very, very hungry, so I'm gonna wrap this up fast. This was fun. It was a slow project with a lot of sewing straight seams, but it was so bright and colorful and floofy and fun the whole time that, like, I enjoyed it. For a little self-critiquing, because I must always self-critique. When I was making the mock-up, the bodice lining that I didn't use, I thought that I should taper the side seams in to the waist a little bit more, and then I decided against it when I made the final one. There's a little bit of a gap here, and if I had done what I thought I should have done, then I wouldn't have that. So, I should listen to myself. When I think I should taper the seams, I should just taper the seams. Also, the skirt is giant and swooshy and amazing, but if I were doing this again, unlikely, but you know, I would put a little bit more length into the first tier. I didn't want to put too much gathering at the waist because I didn't want that to get super bulky with all the gathered fabric right there. So because I used only 10 in this first tier, the circumference of the hem is not as big as I would like it to be. So when I hold the skirt out, it can only go out so far because that's as big as it is. I feel like that made no sense whatsoever. But okay, moving on. Random update on the birds in my backyard, since y'all said you'd love animal updates. The black phoebes, their little nest, I was right, it was an egg stage. They have hatched now, and I saw cute little baby bird beaks out the top as they were begging for food. It's adorable. The doves, on the other hand, I'm a little confused about this. After they both left the nest and went to live in the back section of our garden, one of them returned to the nest. I don't know what happened to the other one. He flew off and decided to live a normal life, but this kid, like, won't move out of his parents' house. He's just sitting in the nest. He, she, could be either. And it has been there possibly like 2 weeks. We know it's alive because we see it blink and it moves positions every now and then, but we have never seen it leave the nest. So how is it eating? If you have any information on doves, do share. Oh, and the half-day thing. It went well. I did not do it every single day of this project because circumstances just changed, but I did it most days, and it really does work well. Because even sewing, like, I so enjoy the sewing part, the making the project parts, but even that, it's difficult to do it for 12 hours straight in a day. I either get too focused on it and I'm not taking a break to like eat a decent meal, or halfway through I'm like, oh my god, I just need to be doing something else. So for both editing and for the project making, doing these half days is really helpful. I'm hoping to return to it frequently as I move forward, being my own boss. And with that, as usual, I'm gonna go eat something. Bye! So logic, bleh.
Stepping on my fabric, it feels wrong.
You'd be like, bloof. Ooh. Sorry to editing me, this one's gonna be a bitch.